Zaruwe, 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 Naiwakaniwa siriwani wayawa Zienda no mudangode Naiwakaniwa matapatira wayawa Naiwakaniwe siriwani wayawa Kunyimamana sino suratate Naiwakaniwe simbirari Zaruwe, Zaruwe, yeah. Zaruwe, Zaruwe, yeah, yeah. Zaruwe, Zaruwe, yeah. Zaruwe, Zaruwe, yeah, yeah. Zaruwe, Zaruwe, yeah. Zaruwe, Zaruwe, yeah. Zaruwe, Zaruwe, yeah. Zaruwe, Zaruwe, yeah. Naiwakaniwa siriwani wayawa, yeah. Ungwe, ungwe, zienda no muda. Naiwakaniwa matapatira wayawa Naiwakaniwa siriwani wayawa Naiwakaniwe zienda no mudengo Kunyimagana zino suratate Naiwakaniwe Zaruwe, Zaruwe, wo, 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 yeah. Zaruwe, Zaruwe, wo, 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 yeah. Zaruwe, Zaruwe, wo, 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 yeah. Zaruwe, Zaruwe, wo, yeah, wo, yeah.
Hi, Nasibo.
Hi.
So happy to have you here.
Thank you very much.
I've only heard you once before today in person. And I remember saying to myself, how is it that you're singing by yourself, you have one instrument, and it sounds like it's a band of people?
Oh, oh my.
Sure, it genuinely felt like that from the first time. And today it was the same thing where even when the performance is done, you don't even, it feels instinctual to clap sometimes, but in those moments you just want to sit and soak it up because you're like, wow. So I really, really appreciate
Wow.
you taking the time to be with me and for the performance. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. Just where did it come from? Where did that musical gift come for you? Was it something that you always knew you had from a child? Was it something that you fought to find, or?
Oh my God. I don't know how, where to start. But the thing is, let me just take you when I was around 7, 8. So my older sister used to sing with my pastors. Like back then, he was our pastor very around 90 something like that. And then she used to sing with the pastor's child. So I wanted to sing with him because I always felt like I need to sing. That was around 8. And then she used to tell me, you need to let your voice mature. Then you can start singing. And it really got to me and got to me and got to me. Until this other time, she puts me in a choir of children, but I didn't want to sing like choir of that Sunday school choir. And then they made me lead the songs. And from that moment, I think that's when it really started. And, I'm a bit spiritual, so I might go back forth with the spirituality and stuff. And my mom that day was called, I remember, he was an elder in the church. And he gave my mom a prophecy. And he was like, I'm seeing your child in front of a lot of people. She's very, very gifted. But back then, it wasn't like I'm really singing like, wow, amazing. But maybe I didn't know.
Mm.
But he said that to her. But fast forward after that, I started singing in church. I was in praise and worship from praise and worship team leading songs from the all-nighter. And then high school, I used to go to scripture reading. I used to lead as well in front of a lot of kids. And that's when we started bringing, oh my God, this is something, I think this is like a call that I actually have to sing and heal. And I remember back then at school, even like in church, when I used to sing, people would see visions, people would prophesy, people would do a lot of things. But I didn't really understand because maybe I was still a child at that moment. And after that, but still I had that, that thing that's eating you up, like, I need to perform, but how? And writing songs, I started writing songs at 12. But it was funny little songs. Maybe I'm being serious. I used to write songs with my other auntie. And then we were almost like the same age. But now she even laughed at me this other time. You're still singing. Because now she's a lawyer.
Now, Nasi, she's saying you're still singing like she's surprised.
No, she got surprised when she saw me singing in front of people, on TikTok, and they'll be like, oh, you're still singing. I thought it was like something that we used to do in Mbira. Because now she is a lawyer.
And she was the one who you had initially inspired you to even start.
Not really like that. Like, we used to write songs and sing together, like at home, like, you know how it is, like, she is like in the Shona sense, and Tate, like, you can have a Tate who is also your age. Exactly. So
Okay, okay.
Same age, but exactly. So, and then after that, I'm just going back and forth. After that, I recorded my first album, but not because I wanted to release the album, because I never wanted to sing like to box myself in a sense. I could say, oh, I'm gonna be a gospel musician. I wanted to sing about something that makes sense. Whether it's gospel, whether it's secular music, as long as it makes sense, as long as it changes someone's life. That's what I wanted to do, because that's what I feel. But for me to do that, I had to make sure that my mom understands that this is what I want to do. So I recorded an album at Mono Mkundu's studio. And I don't know where the album is.
Oh, but?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's there somewhere.
It's physical, but digitally.
No, it's not there.
Oh, wow.
Just for me to convince my mom that this is the part that I want. Because I know, there's something that's telling you that this is what I wanted. This is what you're supposed to be doing, but you can't really figure out how. And then I did that. I used to come from school and ngata at 3 p.m. and then I have to go and record within 2 hours. Come from school, be in the studio around 3:45. Record maybe for 30 minutes. I walk home maybe so that I can be at home at 5. But my mom never really got to see the project because she passed on around that time. But I think I mentioned that I've done this, but it wasn't really like a finished product, but she could actually listen and then she actually got a song for me. Maybe a funny song. Nice. Like there. But she wanted me to sing gospel. But that was a thing. And then she passed away around 2006. When I was like, okay, at least 30. And then after that, I think around 2008. So I was still doing recording with some other people. When you start still trying to understand. So I was recording some people are still in the industry and some are no longer doing music. And the first band that I got to play with was Domingo Luge and Amajans. It was a Afro jazz band. That was around 2008, 2009. And that's how I got to be a backup singer now. For almost 10 years. I've done the people that I really remember now, but I've done with almost everyone in the industry, whether in the studio, whether on stage, recording music, backup singing for a lot of musicians. And then, but I still remember that I've worked with Edith Otonda, I've worked with, what's his name? Dumesani Ngulibe. I've done with Praise. I was his backup singer at one point. And I've done with Gary Tite, I've done with William Tite as well. I've done with a lot of musicians in the industry. But fast forward, 2019, that's when I decided after 10 years of being a backup singer. Because it's hard for you to become a backup, to start your own thing. Because when you're doing backup singing, at least I get paid. I don't have the hassle of thinking, oh, I need to get some money for the bassist pool to put everything together. But in 2019, that's when I started out and talked too much.
Not at all. Please, I'm enjoying.
Back
talking. So 2019, you decided I'm no longer a backup singer. I'm now going to be using my voice at the forefront.
Yes.
Was it because you were tired of like having to listen to what other people want to do, or was it just okay, now I feel like I have the skill set or the urgency to want to organize my own events and all of that stuff? Or what was the main pull?
So the thing is, like, what I was just trying to say, like, starting out is like when you want to start a business. Starting out is very difficult. Because can you imagine when you're like in a company and you're being given like your salary per month and everything is well taken care of? It's easy. I remember at one point I even tried to start a band with my little sister. It was like a group that we used to call Smiling Faces because we used to smile all the time. Like even if like we fight backstage, you wouldn't see it because
You'd smile on camera.
exactly. Backstage, you're fighting, busy shouting at each other, but on stage, as soon as we stand on the stage, you like. So, so, but if you don't have money, if you don't have sponsors, sometimes it's difficult for you to start. And sometimes it's not even about the money. It's about like, okay, I'm going to get some money from Gary. Because when you're a session backup musician, you've got a lot of people that will call you at once. So maybe like
You're constantly busy.
exactly. So it's easier, and like you thinking about coming up with a concert and So it wasn't like I didn't want to start. I really wanted to start, but I think it was like timing, and I think everything happens for a reason as well. For you to start something, and maybe if I had started back then, it wouldn't be like now. Maybe I had to mature. Maybe I had to learn as well from all these other musicians, and so I can at least get into my own path, knowing exactly what to do. I need to do ABCD.
To fulfill the prophecy. When you were told that prophecy, did that weigh heavy on you?
I don't know.
Because I know you're very spiritual.
But I was a baby when I was a child. I don't really remember. I remember the prophecy. But in terms of like, because I was a child, I think I didn't know what it really what it really means, or what it meant at that moment. I don't think so. But after some years, that's when I was like, oh,
It's making sense.
no, I think this is what.
You said that it started with healing. Was it yourself you were trying to heal, or was it music was your way of making other people heal? You would see the effect it had on people. Or was it just something that for you in your soul, you just, I'm just happy?
I grew up as a quiet child. Now I speak too much. I talk too much. But I grew up as a quiet child, and when you're playing even Kumawumpuru when you're growing up, I used to sing like that, like just these funny songs. If I would sing Madonna songs that I would sing at that point to be laughing. I go ahead, my own lyrics.
Freestyling.
Yep.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
My own lyrics that were funny. Yeah. And then I think it was like with me, music is more like it's a source of comfort for me, and then I would love to share that with these other people. And I feel sometimes, even when I write songs, mostly when I hear the songs, I literally hear some song. Some of the songs on the album I did write, they were intimidated by some people. But I can feel, and when I perform as well, I can feel like some sort of like an energy from you. And then I didn't want to talk about all this, but I can sense that. And I'm a person who, whatever I feel, I also want to relate it back to you. And however I feel like, if I feel like at this moment, I think let's talk about healing, or let's talk about, I don't really talk about politics or that stuff, but let's talk about things that are affecting us, That's what I do. Because I feel like when you're a musician or when you're an artist, when even you're like on camera, right? You're telling a story. When you're telling a story, what story do you want to tell people? And what story does your soul say? Okay, let's tell the story. It's exactly. I think it has to do with the heart, with the soul, with the energies, with everything about that.
With being a backup singer and being a session player for so long, did you find that you had to work with people who maybe the type of music they made or the songs that they sang, what they were singing about didn't resonate with you? Or were you able to find people who maybe expressed themselves similar? Because I can imagine being an artist, you're very spiritual again, and you want to heal people through your work. You want to talk about deep issues. A lot of music, especially now, secular music specifically, isn't that. It's people talking about all sorts of random things, earthly things. But in your music, you're grappling with the real life concept. So when did you depart from that, or when did you say, I need to just express my own voice how I do it?
I think so. Zafana, like with me, I've been on stage at Sungura Mizishi. Like some, I'm telling you, like company music, you'll be like, oh,
Any hip hop?
yeah, I've done hip hop.
Really?
Not me,
But
in hip hop. Yeah,
wow.
yeah, I've shared stage with Luminous.
Nice.
There's a rapper from Lawai, and my lyricist as well.
Nisi.
So as Mangaliso Mutize.
Shout out.
Yeah. So it's not like I'm boxed in a way. Or it depends, like with the messaging with the messaging as well. Because I can't I'm not saying I can't do anything at any time. But when you're doing something, you just tell yourself, oh, this is my part. This is what I do. And it's not like I cannot do Zim dance. Or depending on what am I doing on Zim dance with. There's no way that we can say, let's box down. Because how can you heal more people when you're boxing yourself in this little corner where it's just too spiritual and stuff. So
That makes sense. I feel like the more you're able to look into different aspects of an art form, the more those lessons inform how you can give yourself to people even better. So I can imagine, being with Sungura artists, being with hip hop artists, jazz musicians. Did you have to separate yourself from certain, I don't want you to throw people under the bus or anything, but did you have just to carve out your own identity by yourself? Did you have to filter out just nonsense? Because for example,
what nonsense?
Nonsense. It's an industry. Look, so it's an industry. It's a real industry. What I mean is, there's a lot of periphery noise, and I'm obsessed with purity in art. I'm obsessed with people who express themselves, and you can tell that they're not trying to follow a sound. They're not trying to sell. Like, I can tell when I listen to music, you're not thinking to yourself, I want to be on Power FM, I want to be on Star. But you do, of course, but you're not making it with the intention of, though that's the drum pattern that works. That's the sound that everybody's doing. It's like, I'm going to receive it from spirit and I'm going to give it to you. And when it resonates, it will hit your soul. Right? So when you're making your songs, you said you receive them. Do you get them in dreams? Do you pray? Will you just be walking around? Sure.
Okay. I don't know. So, no. No, the thing is,
I promise you won't sound like a crazy person if you express the truth.
Now the thing is, like with the songs that I've written, most of them it's either maybe I'm just sitting, maybe meditating, I hear the songs. Or maybe I'm walking just by myself, I hear the song. or maybe I'm playing as well. That the song. It depends. Like, in terms of like separating myself, like I think everyone does that, and depending on what exactly do you feel comfortable in. It's not like, of course, I do that. Like, I actually separate myself and say, oh, with what I've heard, what can I, because of course, when I hear it, maybe it's not coming as like instruments set, but I try as much as I can to get as authentic as it is, even if I use wasted instruments on the songs, or even when I use just my voice. I want it to sound as almost as similar as how I hear it. Because you don't know why sometimes when you get the song, sometimes you don't know what kind of an impact are you gonna get, or how it's gonna get to someone. So I try as much as I can. Okay.
Like an antenna almost.
Yes.
So when you're performing live, how does that work? Because so when you receive it to actually make the song, right? You're basically saying that you're trying to not mess up with the vision that you've been given. So when you're on stage now and you're having that relationship with the audience, as you said, that energy feedback, is the audience now altering the way you're delivering the song, or are you still keeping that guide saying, no, this is how it's supposed to be done? Some people are very much perfectionists. Hey,
Oh no. If you hear me singing today, the songs that I've done today, you'll hear the same song, but you'll never hear them exactly as. Even on the recording, it will never be as the recording. Because I deal with what I was saying, I deal with the emotions and the feeling at the moment, the energy that because sometimes it's like, okay, it's like a pastor in church. When a pastor comes to church, he's got a word that he's going to minister to people for that particular moment. It's not like, or maybe they write it down, but it's for that service. It's not like every day. So that's my approach, like when it comes to the music. So it comes like when I get into a space, I deal with what's there that moment. Next time we move on to another space, we do something else. Maybe you will see me today performing by myself. Tomorrow you see me in a play doing something else. The other day, it's like that.
Vanochima oye oye aiye oye Hondo. Vanochima oye oye Vanochima oye oye Vanochima oye aiye oye Hondo. Vanochima oye oye Vanochima oye oye Vanochima oye 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 Hondo. Naisanga mire oye iye oye 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 iyo Hondo. Moya na Hondo oye sekuru kagudi oye yonde oye 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 Hondo. Ambuya oye oye Muripiko Wongore oye oye iyo Hondo. Nayambuya na Hondo oye oye yone oye oye wayonde yo yo Hondo vanotema oye oye yonde vanotema oye oye yoye vanotema oye oye aye oye Hondo vanotema oye 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 vanotema oye oye vanotema oye oye aye oye Hondo meso aduinga wani yakasuna mawan laime murebeka waye Nika yese inongudza wani waye woye mapfupa enyu wachamuka era yone naiweka niwe mbuya nenda woye ongure woye yo Hondo naiwenda woye naiweze kuruka guvi woye waiwane iyo Hondo ambuye muribika wayewone misazi yedu ichiyarara wayewone oye iyo Hondo vanotema oye vanotema oye iyo Hondo vanotema oye vanotema oye vanotema oye iyo Hondo yo yonde oye Hondo yo yonde Hondo yo Hondo yo yonde 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 Hondo yo Hondo yo yonde Hondo yo yonde Hondo yo yonde
It's not a matter of just saying, oh, today I'm going to sing Hondo, like, oh, Hondo, I'm going to, you hear me, Hondo, no.
Hondo, let's talk about Hondo.
Oh my God.
You leave that there. Man, we spoke about it a bit before even the podcast, and you told me, what it means to you, but what does that song mean to you?
You mean what it means today?
So what does it mean today? Not yesterday. What does it mean right now to you?
Okay.
5 minutes ago versus right now. Yeah.
Okay. So this song called Hold. For me, it's a song that talks about our mental health, like how we're so stuck and we don't know what to do, like with our lives, and we're stuck, and then we just need that source of what do you call it? At least the source of comfort somewhere, or maybe a go-to place. But in that sense, it's like the song itself. It's like a song that's talking about us as human beings, that we we're facing so so many different types of wars, like mentally, physically, within our countries, even what's happening around the world. We've got so many things that are so much chaos about the world. So it's like I'm calling to a higher presence. However a person would think about it, whether you're dealing with Ngwari, you're dealing with our ancestors, but in specific, I'm dealing on this song, I was dealing with the spirits of Zimbabwe, like calling on Buyananda, calling on Sekurukaguri, those Anatolia, because they had been there in the past. But now, what does that mean for us if they are not leading the way? You know, so it's sort of like we need some answers to some of the things that we are facing as a people, as individuals, because most of people that are like of our generation, we are a bit lost in the way in terms of our roots, in terms of even where we're going, in terms of the stuff that we're dealing with every day. We don't even know. In person, I don't know. That's why I pray. Because I don't know. Exactly. So Hondo, it talks about depending on how you like how you view the sock. It talks about a lot of things metaphorically packaged in one space.
How do we get more in touch with our roots?
I do hear.
How do you get more in touch with your roots? Obviously through music, but you're calling on ancestors. You're revisiting our past. You're saying we don't necessarily have the power, the strength, or the resolve, but we have these people, these historical figures, these legends who have done great things for us, and they've shown us a way. Where are we getting lost? How do we go forward? What's your message? How do you connect yourself with that energy?
I think sometimes, not sometimes, no, that's a wrong word. I think what's the best way to really understand, about like understand our past is to start by reflecting on yourself. As to ask yourself, who are you? What are you? And what is my purpose as a person? It's not like I have figured it out, like what my purpose is and everything. But when you start by looking at yourself and put yourself, like mirror yourself and see yourself and ask yourself, who am I as a person? What do I need to do? Because we all have like different purposes that we have here on earth. That's what I believe. It's my own okay. So, but you can never know your purpose when you don't know yourself. Tinganozotwaga like, oh, kuthi who is my ancestor, oh, baba kapo ndiyani, oh, baba wangu nini, mdala wangu ndi Washington Mutize, oh, angani ngano wa Lamek ngano wa Luka, going back to Mutize to that. We may look for those things, but if you don't really know yourself, there's no way that you're going to track back to that. Because that's how you get back to your roots. Like,
do you think Zimbabwean history specifically is integral for the youth today? To, like, for example, I've always noticed that in a lot of the curriculums we don't actually learn about our history like that. Or do you think it's something where, as families, people need to be talking more about this is what our family is, this is what our country is? Or is it actually something where on a larger system we should be teaching people? Because at school people will be learning about World War I, World War II.
Went to away as well. I'm not saying we don't need to know about that, but what can I use?
What can I use it for, right? And I think that was even something that we in high school and prep school, we didn't learn about Sekuru Kagui like that. We didn't learn.
Yeah, we just knew that they like
told about
like in passing, like
in passing.
Yeah.
And then when you grow, you then start to dig for yourself. But that's a real blunder because even in the music you can feel the presence there. You can feel the presence of the spirits that you're evoking. And it's the fact that there's a disconnect where most of our brains, you say those names, it's like a word. It's just a word. It's not the power that it has to be. So do you feel like it's your responsibility to educate people through your music? Because obviously you're not trying to educate people, but do you feel like it's a responsibility to, in your music, connect people with their past, to make people feel connected? Or is it just happening organically? I don't know if that makes sense.
I think it's both ways, but I feel like when it started, like like what I don't know how to really explain. When it really, like when I really started writing songs and even performing, if you just put me in space, I can even you can just put me in, you told me to start singing. Sometimes I don't even know. Even if you ask me what if I just sing, I don't know. You know, not like I'm possessed. I just say, I do what I do. If you ask me, what were you singing about? Maybe I don't know. You know. But the thing is, I feel it's also like what the kind of music that I do, it is my responsibility to talk about that. And as much as, even if I don't have like so much information, but with what I know, with what I've learned, or with what I've heard, not like in school, even oral history, because I believe what you're saying, like, it is our responsibility, like from family, because everything starts like small and too. So I think it has to, like, us as musicians, I know it is our job to just speak out and say a lot of things, even things that are not right to say, or things that you may think you're not supposed to say. We've got the power to speak about them. And since we have the power to do that, I think it is our call to speak about these issues. Because, like, our parents, I'm not saying I blame them, it wasn't their fault. It was also because of colonialism. They were told not to worship. Like, they were told not to, practice like tradition, or traditions. So there's something, there was like a missing link between, I think, the generation of their fathers and our parents. There's like a disconnect. So now, our generation, now I've seen a lot of young people coming up, researching, even if they are not researching, they're also coming to listen to Mbira. Not because they like the music like that, but they are trying as much as they can to get back to the roots.
Zinona, zinonzwa, zimwe dzinodzikinura, dzimwe dzinopira gotsi, yoye. I see you wake up, sora semoyo, oh yeah. Chirimudenga chinoona, vari pasi, vanonzwa iwe. Chirimudenga chinoona, vari pasi, vanonzwa iwe. Chirimudenga chinoona, vari pasi, vanonzwa iwe. Chirimudenga chinoona, vari pasi, vanonzwa. Mas we honorable, me misotsi yakunotsha mashoko aunotaura angave manaka angave kaipa kudzungudza musoro waremerwa iwe chirimudenga chinoona vari pasi vanonzwa iwe vanonzwa chirimudenga chinoona vari pasi vanonzwa iwe vanonzwa chirimudenga chinoona vari pasi vanonzwa iwewo vanonzwa chirimudenga chinoona vari pasi vanonzwa ukambata rakanaka pane yanoyeuka pane yachoziva kuti uri mwana wangana akukucheuka asi ukapira gotsi vanotambura magori rava chirimudenga chinoona vari pasi vanonzwa iwewo chirimudenga chinoona vari pasi vanonzwa chete iwone chirimudenga chinoona vari pasi vanonzwa iwewo chirimudenga chinoona vari pasi vanonzwa iwewo
Chirimudenga is about accountability and accountability of like
Thank you so much. Oh my
accountability for ourselves. Yeah. And for the next person as well. It's a song that talks about us knowing exactly like whatever we do in our lives is always like some, what do you call it? What's the English word? There's always like some
Karma, that's the one I think.
not karma, some consequences.
Consequences, that's the one.
Every
Good and bad consequences.
yes,
Okay.
to everything that we do,
Mhm.
whether it's good, it's bad. And sometimes people may not really understand like about karma, but karma it may not come to you like in this generation, but to come to you. Exactly. So in everything that we do, we have to be very accountable. We have to be, no matter whatever. Look, let's just try to be as good as possible to yourself, to the next person, because there's always that person that's seeing, even if it's not that person that's next to you, but there's always that being that's seeing, or that's looking, or that's hearing. So it's not just a matter of acting, it's what we say, it's what we talk about every day. Like when I speak to you, am I being nice to you? When I speaking for myself, am I being nice to myself as well? Because sometimes, there are people who just talk, just speak negative.
About themselves, about others, about things, about events.
Everything. So I think it also comes back to like self-reflecting. It's about you, it's about the next person, it's about whatever we do. It's about you, it's about the next person, it's about the other person, it's about everyone.
Is it about keeping other people accountable or just yourself?
Yourself and other people as well. Not just like, this accountability is not just for one person, like everyone. Because if you're keeping it for yourself, if I am accountable, right, it means you are going to be. By me just being accountable, it means that you're going to be. Yeah. I think so.
Your music, the reason I brought that in after talking about Hondo is because your music, that destiny, do you think that that's part of your accountability? Like, if you weren't being a musician, right? We talked about purpose. If you weren't a musician, do you think that that would be you disrespecting your purpose? Do you think that would be you being unaccountable?
I don't think so, because if I wasn't a musician, of course I would have another purpose.
Do you think so? Do you think that's how it works? Do you think that you just sort of decide, or is it ordained? Right? Because if you weren't a musician, what would you be doing?
I don't. Because everything that I do, it
revolves around music. But is that because that's your purpose? Is that because that you know what I'm saying? Like, is it the fact that you found that calling, now you're able to actually be accountable to your gift?
Yeah.
You know?
I think so. I think so. I think that's a good word. I think so. Because, like, it's not like if I wasn't a musician, maybe I was going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something. But it doesn't mean that if I'm supposed to be doing whatever I'm supposed to do, it will just happen eventually. Because I believe that when we are born today, that's it. And then you when you become it. I think so. That's what I think. I don't know if you ever heard me. I'm that person I know.
Yeah. Please.
I don't know if you've ever heard that, like, I don't know if you've ever heard. Like, so it's even like if a bad person actually can actually see it, oh, this person is gifted in such a way. That's when they attack the person. Like when they're still. Yeah, that's why children will always like I always like this. No, that's what I intend me. But I think when we're all gifted in different ways. That's why someone is a doctor. Mumenganga. That's how it is. That's how we're gifted. And we're changing lives in different ways. Someone is healing people in the hospital. Someone is healing people spiritually. Someone is healing people through music. Someone is healing people through art. We're all doing the same, but different.
I think we all have a responsibility.
We all have.
We do.
Like different responsibilities.
Very different. And I was actually talking to my brother about it, where your purpose, it has to be how do I don't know how to how to express it fully, but you have to be responsible with what you have, and you have to know that other people around you, everybody is given the same, not the same gift, but everybody is given a gift. Everybody's given a purpose.
No,
and
there's no gift that's bigger than the other.
none of them are bigger than the other. Everybody has that, and we all have the same mission. It's to find your purpose, find your gift, and use it to help other people. Use it to be of service. And I think where we go wrong, artists, doctors, politicians, businessmen, whatever it may be, people take their gift and
Personalize.
they personalize it. That's an interesting way of saying it. I was going to say they misuse it, but personalize.
Yeah, because it's not for you to use.
How do you personalize your gift in terms of...
Because ndinakapenga. No, I'm being honest.
I get you.
Yeah, ndinakapenga.
You think it's no longer, you think it's about you.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not about you. Because when we get gifts, we're given gifts not for us. I don't even understand that. We're given gifts to help others. So now the fact that you start looking at the gifts, or maybe start looking at it like it is you. Now you're misrepresenting whatever spirit that's leading you. Because when you're given a gift, it's not you. It's God's gift. So I never ever say kuti nini ndakasoti, or even I'm not getting money out of it now. Because we all started going my beats a mad. Performing for free, so many times. But you do it because you love it. But at one point, for you to suffer, for you not to put food on your table, for you not, no. If you see things like that, it means there's something wrong in between. As long as, and also knowing that, okay, I've got this gift. Oh, God has put tea on my table. Tea is enough for now because it's big. Someone doesn't have tea. At least you got tea. That mentality of now saying, people are getting killed. And then after getting killed now, and then I don't get anything out of it. No. That's a problem. Yeah. I'm not saying we don't have to make money.
No, but I hear
make money. Make money because we need to pay school fees. We need to put food at the table. We need all that. But at the same time, let's not personalize our gifts because they are not ours.
anything can be given to you, can be taken away. Yeah, and it's true because you can be making money one day, you have a thriving career, then the next day it's gone. Even someone can lose your voice.
You can. It's a risk.
These things happen, and so it's like you do have to be just satisfied and grateful to God. Go to God. What I have, it's enough. And I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to praise you for what you've given me. And I'm going to continue to do what I do for the love of it. Not expect. I think expectation is the problem. That personalization is when you start expecting things.
Too much.
Because you're like, it's me. So my gift must bring me gifts. I need more gifts. And that, it's like, no, that's actually when the blessings start blocking.
Except
that's where you block. Because God's saying, okay, no. Be humble. Be humble.
And I'm going to say to humble you.
It will humble you.
Same people being humbled. A lot of people.
When you are looking and just sort of going through and those gigs where you're not getting paid, or maybe you're getting paid but it's a little bit, or maybe someone, you go there and they're being disrespectful, those situations, or someone's supposed to pay, they pay you late, all of that sort of thing. Were you ever demoralized? Did you ever feel like your faith was dwindling or broken?
I know, I think we all have phases, but at one point, let me be honest. There's a time that you're doing something like for so long and you're doing it. And you want things to happen for yourself and it doesn't happen. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? What is wrong with me? And because if I'm supposed to be doing this, I'm not saying I expect like a mansion. Of course I expect a mansion. But of course.
Of course.
But I'm not saying like at that point, as long as at least if I can put food on my table.
Zaruwe.
Zaruwe. But anyway, Zaruwe wasn't written by her. It was written by this other lady. She's called Sithole. But that song resonates with me like that because it talks about me. Mbira ogwe, Mbira sheet, and how that one. Can you see it? That one.
Yeah, please, actually, you can either.
I can't reach really
Make sure. Very. Yes, you can maybe show it. I don't know.
Mbira ogwe. It talks about me. It talks about like what we were talking about. I think that's like most of my messaging. Like it talks about roots, it talks about mental health, it talks about things that are happening in our society and what. But specifically on this song, it talks about who I am as a person, where I've been, and where I'm going. This now has nothing to do with everyone. It's my journey. It's my journey that now I am moving. This is my first album. And this is something now that I really need to make sure that whatever messaging that we're putting out there, whatever, even me, what I'm doing out there, it's now my takeoff time. It's like a plane. It's like the eagle when it spreads its wings. Like it starts by, what do you call this?
Slapping.
Exactly. And then it takes its flight.
So it was written by someone else, but it feels so personal.
Yeah, because specifically it was written for me.
It was written for you.
Yeah, for me to perform it. And
okay.
Yeah.
Did that so how did that process work? Like, did you ask the person when you do it, or they gave it to you almost like as a gift? You had no idea what they were going to talk about.
No, the thing is, like, I was playing my Mbira and then she started seeing me on top of and Mbira recorded it. And I made it personal after whatever she did there.
Is it your favorite song to perform?
Yeah. Yes.
Is it your most requested one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's it talks about me. It's personal.
So you think that, the more personal something it is, the more universal it is. Do you think that people are hearing it and they're almost hearing themselves in it?
I think so too. I think so too.
What a powerful song. What a powerful song. I don't even know what questions to ask was like it's similar to the same way I reacted when I heard it. I was just like, okay. You feel it, like you get chills, and then you say, what? So I also wanted to ask you maybe about your mtuko and all that stuff, but I don't know. If you don't want to, that's fine. Because we've been talking so much about our tradition as Zimbabweans, and then also like Western influence and all of this stuff. I actually saw something online at a point, which was like, as Zimbabweans, if you have a mtuko, is that clashing with like Christian values?
No, it doesn't clash. That's why you see. Wow. That's how you see kind of like if it's Christianity, like if it's not really tied to our cultural values. That's why when you see when someone gets married, even like at a white wedding, they still go to start by doing rora. By doing rora now, that's when you find uyu muera shiri, so muera shiri uyu cannot marry another muera shiri. if they are going to marry each other, it means it's funny to kachika okamba. So those things, that's why I always say they are very linked. We may want to separate like the two. The fact that we are so colonized and we can't do anything about it because it's not instilled within our bodies. It's there within us, that culture of Christianity. It's another culture by itself as well. It's within us. We cannot really say, and of course, I'm seeing Christ, but, we still have those elements of Christianity within us because it was there for so long. Even if you try to remove some things, like, but still there because it's now within us like that. But what I'm trying to say is, our totems, our bloodline, it flows within our things. No matter how much we try to saladize things and do that. Those things are there. Even if you say, nah,
you can't. You can't.
yeah, no. Tupo wangu ndiningi, no. Mutubo ndasa nyangu munagaita mpostora akaita muslim akaita unongonzwa makalikosi wako.
Yeah. That's important. It's important to give that message. That's why I wanted to ask. Because I've been seeing that conversation going on where people don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about that reality. But Moyo Chirand.
Oh, you're my mother.
Is that a good thing? That's thank you.
Yeah, Sekuru.
Thank you so much.
That's my mom. My mom was Chirand as well.
Yeah, that's us. It's crazy when you see people interact in life. Sometimes people will gravitate towards people who are similar in terms of their totems and stuff. So
Exactly. Doesn't happen by
coincidence.
I've seen it. That's usually, especially here in Zimbabwe, when you ask someone, I need you to do ABCD for me. I'll need them to. And they're like,
And it's like, okay, that makes sense. You're me, we're together, we're the same.
Yeah.
And it's something spiritual that happens. So I always find it very fascinating. I can't deny it.
Yeah.
And so the last song, Amai Maria.
Oh yeah.
Please.
You want me to explain that?
Yes.
No.
So deep.
Let me tell you about a story how it came.
Oh, story time.
That song, yeah. At one point, I was doing music. I was taking my music certificates at Music Crossroads. I was so broke, like zero the whole of year, the whole of the year. And I was staying in Mbira and I wanted to go to school. I don't have the money for transport. I don't have food at home. I don't know. But no one knew. Like, that was my situation at home. Even in school, people would think like, she's cool. But not don't have interest in everything of thinking, she's okay. But at home, no food. So this song came this hour time. I wanted to get to school, no transport, no food. So I was just sitting in the kitchen, like literally down. That's when I said, let me just play it a bit and it played. That's when that song came. So if you listen to the song, it's sort of like a prayer. But not just a prayer, just a normal prayer way, like, this was like a prayer because I'm a mom, right? And at that point, I didn't stay with my kid. And I've got raped. And I felt like there are a lot of women out there like me as well. So Amai Maria, in a Christianity way, is a representation of a woman. So the whole song is sort of like a prayer for a woman. Like, even if things are very tough, even things are like you don't even know where to go. Yeah, there's always like some way, or maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. At one point, it will never go. So it was a song that was supposed to heal me and also find my own healing in the process. At the same time, for other people as well. Like when I'm singing that song, it really gets to me like all the time because it takes me back to that moment.
Time.
Exactly.
That kitchen. It was in the kitchen, you said?
Yeah, that kitchen. It takes me back to that moment when things are so bad and tough, but you don't have anyone even to talk to. Even if you try to talk to anyone, no one is there. So yeah.
Did things change for you after the song?
After
There was a big trigger. He pushed the button, the song goes out. Hey, things are sorted though.
no, after a couple of years.
It was still questioning and battling and yeah. When you go through that much, does it make you stronger in your faith at the end of it? Or do you kind of, because I guess I know the answer to that because you are very strong in your faith. But at those times when you're making that song, is it like a desperation thing where it's like, I'm praying because I'm just out of hope now? That's what it is?
Mm-hmm. And I know like the situation, it's not like my situation. And someone may have it worse than. Because have you ever come like a point where you want to tell someone your problem and then you hear something about it and you're like, yeah, I'm fine, because I'm dumb. Yeah. Then you keep quiet till it.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Your journey has been amazing, Nasibo.
I think we just need to have like days of just talking about this. This is interesting.
When you were at that point, did you even dream or believe that you could get to where you are now?
I knew at one point that things are gonna change. And it doesn't mean like when you think like at one point as well, like my career was going like this, and then it really literally fell like this. Not because I missed anything. I think those are like life journeys where things are not like this all the time. Sometimes they're this, they're going up there, it doesn't mean like, and still that song, especially Amai Maria, that song, it constantly, even if when I'm tired, it's one of the songs that I sing because it gets me back to at least.
Wow.
Even if I'm not.
Even if you're not on stage performing, just to hear a poem and you'll sing it to yourself. Wow. That is personal healing and external healing for everybody. What would you tell yourself when you were young to give yourself some motivation, inspiration, wisdom, something that if you could time travel, if you could actually just hop in the portal right now, and you could go to yourself. Sometimes I'd ask like, oh, anyone, but specifically you at, let's say 16, when you were about to put out your music for the first time, what would you say to her?
To myself, I think, I would say, don't worry too much. You'll always have this gift. It's yours. It's never going anywhere. It's just yours. And you're amazing. No matter how little you think you are, but you're big. You're quite big.
Amen. Nasibo Mutize.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through. Such an honor to have you here today.
Thank you.
Wow. God bless you.
Kaziwa Amai Maria, kaziwa yo. Kaziwa yo, mane moyo mutena. Kaziwa Amai Maria, kaziwa yo. Kaziwa yo, mane moyo mutena. Nefurira wagoni, niwote. Nekutimiso wangu ndiwa akaperformance. Burira yogoni niwote. Nekuti miso wangu ndiwa aka performance man. Amai Maria. Oh oh oh, Amai Maria. 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 Oh, oh. Iyumbani yangu haione. Neratetawa nzira yekufamba nayo. Itotoka zangu hazisiwe. Amai Maria. Amai Maria. Oh oh oh, Amai Maria. Amai Maria. Oh oh oh, Amai Maria. Amai Maria. Oh oh oh, Amai Maria. Amai Maria. Oh 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 oh. Ninakumbira kuna miwaya waya. My Maria. Kutindana magaramu inasumai waya 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 waya. Nekutisa ngoiri rinondera mero waya 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 waya. Sango, sango ereo. Sango, rangumuko. Sango, sango ereo. Sango, rangu amai. Sango, risere shikara. Sango, rangumuko. Sango risere kurema. Sango rango amai. Diwutse iwe kwakayanda bamwe. Loita garane. Diwutse iwe kwakayanda bamwe. Loita garane. Wangore iya yone. 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 Wangore Sango risara kurema. Sango sango ereo. Sango rangumuko. Sango sango ereo. Sango Wangare